Dive into the world of fish keeping with Aqua Alex. Hey fish keepers, are you ready to expand your knowledge on tropical fish keeping? Join us for Ask Aqua Alex Live, a thrilling live stream where the legendary Aqua Alex, with 19 years of fish keeping experience, will answer all your burning questions about freshwater and saltwater aquariums. What to expect? Expert insights. Aqua Alex specializes in cyclids and monster fish, and he's eager to share his wisdom with you. Interactive Q&A. Your questions are the heart of the show. Get real-time answers by posting in the YouTube chat during the live stream. Can't catch us live? No worries. You can still have your questions answered by emailing them to Aqua Alex Cardinale at icloud.com. Whether you're watching live or the replay, Aqua Alex is here to help. Join us and become part of this vibrant community of fish enthusiasts. We can't wait to see you there. Let's make a splash together.
Hello, fish keepers, and welcome to episode 2 of Ask Aqua Alex Live. This is the fish keeping live stream where I, Aqua Alex Cardinale, answer your burning fish keeping questions. I have been in the aquarium hobby for about 19 years, and I have experience in both freshwater and saltwater aquariums with a love and passion for predatory fish and large growing monster fish. However, I have experience in many aspects of the aquarium hobby. I have kept everything from goldfish to tetras and community fish to saltwater and oddballs. So tonight on Ask Aqua Alex Live, I'm going to be answering some of your burning questions. I got some awesome questions that were emailed to me earlier this week that I'm going to answer, and I'm also going to answer any of the live questions that come in. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get this awesome show started. And I see we already have an awesome question that just came in right now. And the question is, I have a 90-gallon freshwater tank with a red-tailed catfish and a common wolffish together. That's cool. Red-tailed catfish and wolffish are some of my favorite monster predatory fish. Red-tailed cats get massive, so the red-tailed cat eventually is going to outgrow that 90-gallon aquarium, but it's really a cool fish, and wolffish are awesome as well. I really do like wolffish. All right, so let's start by answering some of the questions that were emailed to me earlier this week. And if you have any questions, post them in the chat and I will answer them. So someone from an email sent me a whole bunch of questions, so I'm going to go ahead and answer them to the best of my ability. Our first question is, have there been any particular fish that stood out to me as a favorite or had a significant impact on you? I get this question a lot. I actually had a coworker ask me about my particular favorite fish. And I've been in the aquarium hobby for so long that it's hard to pinpoint one particular fish species. But if I had to narrow it down to a top 5, I could probably do that. So there are some fish that really stand out to me as personal favorites. There are some fish that I really admire and I really have to have. The first fish would be clown loach. I love clown loaches. I've got a group of 6 in my African cichlid tank. I think clown loaches are incredibly personable. I think they're very unique, and they're really, really cool. And then up next, we've got Oscar cichlids. Oscars are extremely personable. They're like a water puppy. I love Oscar cichlids. It goes without saying, in my years of fish keeping, I've always had Oscars. Let's see. I think tiger shovelnose and red-tailed cats are personal favorites of mine. I love the large growing catfish. They always have a particular impact on me. I like watching them eat and watching them grow. Arowanas are another fish that are a particular interest for me. I love the way arowanas swim. They have a majestic swimming style, and I love the way that they eat as well. Arowanas are bony tongue fish, which are very, very cool. And then cichlid-wise, I love severums, I love waru, I love chocolate cichlids, and now I particularly like African peacocks, haps, and frontosas. A fish that has a significant impact on me would be the flagtail procholotus. That's a fish I've been studying for quite a long time, and I think it is the best algae eater in the freshwater side of the aquarium hobby. And obviously, a lifelong fish that has an impact on me would be silver dollars, regular silver dollars, red hook silver dollars, black bar silver dollars. I've always been a huge fan of silver dollars. So that is a great question to get us started. Mason says he just got a 14-inch long albino common pleco with some bikers. Nice. Albino plecos are really cool. I like the albino gibiceps or the albino sailfin pleco. Bikers are really cool as well. I've got a couple bikers in my African cichlid tank. I've got an Enla cherry, an ornate, and a Senegal biker. Bikers are a really cool prehistoric fish from Africa. All right, so our next question comes from the same person, and they want to know, do I have any particularly memorable or rewarding experiences related to fish keeping that I'd like to share? That is actually a really good question. All right, so one memorable experience that I have for fish keeping would be when I purchased a used 75-gallon aquarium for a steal. At least I thought it was a steal. Turns out the aquarium didn't hold water and it cracked, and there was glass all over my floor and water all over my floor. So that's a lesson that I learned the hard way. Don't trust used aquariums unless it's less than a year old. When I can, I prefer to purchase new aquariums because the chances of a new aquarium leaking are a lot slimmer and a lot less likely than a used aquarium. A used aquarium, you don't know how long it's been without holding water or how old it is. A new aquarium is water ready right away most of the time. So that's a particularly memorable moment I had with fish keeping. The winter storm of 2011, where I lost my entire fish room. That's another memorable experience I've had. Thankfully, I'm no longer in Massachusetts or anywhere it snows, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. Let's see, rewarding experience related to fish keeping. I'd say anytime I get to see my fish grow is a rewarding experience. And I have had numerous rewarding experiences related to fish keeping. I have seen some amazing growth from baby monsters all the way to adulthood. I have grown out several arowanas, red-tailed cats, tiger shovelnose. I've even grown out Oscars, Severums, silver dollars, etc. Also, I once had a pair of red-spotted gold Severums lay eggs, and that was pretty rewarding for me. Also, working at a tropical fish store is a very rewarding experience because I get to share my passion and my love for tropical fish with people. And these people may not be as interested in the fish as me, or they may be getting into it and they need someone that has the passion and the knowledge to share the hobby with them. And I am very thrilled about that. I actually enjoy communicating with customers on a daily basis about aquariums, especially the people that are new and they don't know about aquariums, and I get to tell them all the fun things about the aquarium hobby. That was a really great question. I had to think for a few seconds on that question. Mason says, I usually buy older aquariums from the 80s and they usually leak, but I am able to seal the leaks. Yes, you can reseal old aquariums. That's actually a very good idea. If you buy an old aquarium, you might as well reseal it just to make sure that it doesn't leak. But that's a whole lot of work and a big hassle. I'm lazy. If I got the money, I'll just buy a brand new aquarium. But if you like projects, then it would be a great idea for you. All right, our next question This is also another question that's going to get me to think a little bit. What are my future plans or goals in fish keeping? Well, one future plan that I'm actually going to be undertaking within the next month or so is a big saltwater aquarium. I can't wait to set up a saltwater aquarium. In that saltwater aquarium, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to stock in there. I mean, I do like dogface puffers a lot, but I've never had firefish before. So I'm still debating on what I'm going to keep, but I'm definitely going to have a beautiful saltwater aquarium, and it's going to be really awesome. So that's one of my future plans. I also want to do an indoor goldfish and koi pond. I'd like the shabumpkin goldfish, the red caparandas, and I also love the kuhaku koi and the tancho koi as well. So definitely saltwater, the koi pond, and then my African cichlid tank. What are my goals in fish keeping? My goals in fish keeping is to continue to educate and continue to see the aquarium hobby grow. I'm going to continue working on my fish keeping YouTube channel and see where it goes from the next 5, 10 years. Ideally, I'd like to see my channel be very popular in the aquarium hobby, and that's what I'm going to be working towards in the next couple of years. So my future plans are right now to get settled, get my saltwater tank up and running, and then eventually I'll move on to a pond, and then eventually I'll work on my YouTube channel, get it up where it needs to be. Eventually, if I ever get the money, I'd love to open my very own local fish store. So that's also a very good question. Mason says, there was a video online of a bumblebee grouper in a fully freshwater aquarium with peacock bass, and he was 2 foot long. What do you think? That's really cool. I do like the bumblebee groupers. Now, the thing with bumblebee groupers is that they can start off in freshwater as juveniles. As they get larger, they eventually need to be moved over to a fully saltwater environment because they cannot live in freshwater long term. They're not a permanent freshwater fish. They can start off in freshwater as juveniles, but eventually, when they become subadults, they need to be switched over to saltwater. So the 2 foot mark would actually be a subadult. So he's actually going to need to be moved into a saltwater tank relatively soon. So hopefully whoever has that bumblebee grouper will put them in a saltwater environment, because if not, it's going to start to get ill and then eventually it will die. But bumblebee groupers are pretty cool. They get massive. They're one of the largest groupers in the world. They start off in freshwater, and I think a lot of the fish stores and the aquarium industry as a whole, they market the bumblebee groupers as freshwater groupers, even though they are not. They can live in freshwater as juveniles, but as they mature, they need to be moved over to saltwater. Really, really cool. But they are a very, very cool fish. If you are a monster hobbyist, a monster fish hobbyist, it is something to think about to keep and eventually go saltwater or in a saltwater pond. That sounds cool. I might grow one out and sell him at about a foot. You could do that. That would be pretty cool if you're into monster fish. They are very interesting once they are smaller. When they get bigger, they start losing that interesting marking and pattern. All right, so let's move on to my next question here. What are some common challenges I faced in fish keeping, and how did I overcome them? That's actually another awesome question. That could be an entire show that I dedicate just to that question. But some of the common challenges I faced in fish keeping are as follows. Aggression. Because I keep cichlids and predatory fish, aggression is a challenge I face almost on a daily basis. Aggression can be caused from numerous things. Aggression can be territorial disputes. A fish could just be an aggressive natured fish and just want to chase things around. Aggression could be lack of tank space. So one of the common challenges I faced in fish keeping is aggression. How did I overcome aggression? Well, I overcame aggression by reestablishing the tank. What I mean by that is taking out all the decor and rearranging it, moving rocks around, adding new caves, new driftwood, new structures into the aquarium so that the established territory gets disrupted and the fish have to reestablish territory with the new decor that is added into the aquarium. So the biggest challenge I faced in fish keeping when it comes to monster fish is aggression. Aggression is one of the biggest challenges I faced. And then there is the other challenge of fish eating each other. For example, when I had Oscars, red tails, and all the large predatory fish, sometimes they would eat the smaller fish. But what I found to combat that is to make sure that all the monster fish are always well fed, and I fed them a couple times a day to avoid that. And that is something that is really interesting to me, is watching the monster fish always eat. And when they're well fed, they will leave smaller fish alone. A good way to think about it is if you go to New England Aquarium and they've got a massive red-tailed catfish, and in that tank they've got angelfish, they've got plenty of smaller tetras and stuff. Well, that red-tailed cat is fed humongous amounts of food on a daily basis. It is not going to chase fish around on a full stomach. So if we apply that in the aquarium hobby, if we keep our fish well fed, then they're less likely to eat their tank mates. And one last challenge I faced is water clarity. Because I have a lot of fish in my aquarium, I was relying on hand-in-the-back filters, which aren't really the best for large aquariums. So I would have to keep up on my water changes. I was having to do multiple water changes a week to keep the water clear. But I combat that by adding a Fluval FX6 onto my big tank, and now my water is crystal clear. So that was actually a very, very good question. And Mason says a common challenge is getting a fish to cohabit, and the biggest challenge for me is also aggression. Yes, aggression is probably going to be a big challenge for many fish keepers who have cichlids and other aggressive fish, because fish can be very territorial, especially cichlids and monster predatory fish. All right, so the next question is also another good question. And this is from a different person. The question is, have you ever kept saltwater fish? And if so, how does it compare to keeping freshwater species? Yes, I have kept saltwater fish in the past. It has been a little while since I've had saltwater fish, at least 6 years. Saltwater is very, very awesome. I love saltwater aquariums. I think saltwater differs from freshwater in a couple of ways. Saltwater definitely has fish that are really beautiful. There's a lot of intriguing colors and patterns in saltwater. Some of the saltwater fish are also very versatile and very beautiful. Like, I love the dog-faced puffer. I love moray eels. I love lionfish. I love the hogfish. Saltwater fish are just incredible. It is very similar to freshwater in that you have to do water changes and you have to monitor water quality. Make sure that there's no ammonia in your saltwater aquarium and make sure the water parameters are where they need to be. Now, it does get a little bit different than freshwater because we have to measure salinity and we have to add salt to our water. And when you do a water change in saltwater, it is different than a water change that you would do for fresh water. You have to pre-mix salt water for a saltwater aquarium. So let's say today would be Tuesday, for example, and you plan to do a water change on Wednesday. Then 24 hours before the water change, you would put some salt water in a bucket, add your water, and let it sit for 24 hours, and then you would do a small water change. But other than that, salt water is pretty similar to fresh water. You're going to need a tank, a stand, some filters, a heater. You could use a protein skimmer in salt water to help keep your water clear. You'll need some good salt. You'll need a hydrometer. And that's pretty much it. and a water test kit. Now, if you're going to do corals and that, you need some more equipment for that. Corals do require a lot more than a fish only with live rock, but we'll save that for a whole other show. Me personally, I'm not a huge coral guy. I do like the torch corals. If I were to keep corals, it would be a torch coral aquarium. But I just like the fish in saltwater and the inverts. But it is very similar to freshwater, just a little bit more in terms of water parameters and testing your water. But it really is fun. Don't let people tell you that saltwater is difficult or it's expensive. It is not difficult by any means of the imagination. It just has more steps to it. But it definitely is a fun process. Mason says, I haven't done a water change on my tanks in over 2 months, and it is still very clear. That's awesome. That means you have superb filtration. My tank is doing very, very well now. My tank is crystal clear with the Fluval FX6 on it. So I'm very, very happy with that purchase. I had a Fluval FX4, but I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. So yes, I said, you know what, let me try the biggest one they had. And that's the perks of working at a fish store. You don't have to pay $300-400 for a Fluval FX6. I got it for 30% off, whatever the price was, which is still a good deal. But the Fluval FX6 is doing a great job on my 125-gallon aquarium. So as long as you have superb filtration, your water is always going to be good. All right. The next question comes from a loyal viewer of mine. And this question is awesome. I like this question a lot. And this question is, can you share a bit about your journey over the 19 years of keeping fish? Yes, that is a very, very good question. I kind of did an episode similar to this question a few weeks ago on aquatic wetline, which is up on my YouTube channel. But I'll go ahead and answer this question again. So, pretty much I was born into the aquarium hobby because my dad was keeping fish long before I was conceived. And when I was born, my dad already had aquariums. So, my childhood was growing up around aquariums. And when I was 12 years old, that's when I finally got my very first aquarium. And the very first fish I ever had were red devil, Oscar, and a couple of other predatory fish. So I've always been involved in predatory fish. So over the years, from the age of 12 to now, I've had a lot of predatory fish, but I've also had community fish. I've had angelfish, I've had severums, I've had discus at one point, I've had tetras, barbs, rasboras. But also, when I was 18 years old, that is when I ventured into saltwater for the very first time. So at 18, I got my very first saltwater aquarium. When I was 21, I had a 120-gallon saltwater aquarium. And then I moved here to South Florida. I had saltwater briefly when I was here in South Florida. And then I went back to monster freshwater fish. And now, for the first time ever in my life, I have African cichlids. And at one point, I did have fancy goldfish, but personally speaking, I feel that fancy goldfish belong in small ponds or really large aquariums because goldfish have no stomachs and they produce a shit ton of waste. No pun intended, they do produce a shit ton of waste because they don't have stomachs. So unless you have really superb filtration, I think goldfish are suitable for 90-gallon aquariums and larger, and even some small indoor ponds. And eventually, that's my next goal, is to create a small indoor pond with some goldfish and maybe a few koi. That would be awesome. So overall, my journey over the past 19 years has always been fishy. I've always had at least one aquarium. There were times in the last 19 years that I've had multiple aquariums. Not anytime soon, or not anytime recently, have I had multiple aquariums. I do plan on getting a saltwater tank, which will bring me to 2 aquariums, but I'm not sure when I will have a whole entire fish room again. I'm not sure if that's necessarily possible at this moment in time, but I definitely still have the same passion, the same love, and the same drive for fish keeping as I did 19 years ago. And I'm still young. I am one of the younger fish keeping YouTubers out there. Well, I was when I first started. I'm now 32 years old, so I'm not really that young. But when I first started here on YouTube, I was one of the younger YouTubers. So I still have plenty of time to keep fish and enjoy the aquarium hobby. All right, what a great start to this week's episode of Ask Aqua Alex Live. Go ahead and post any questions you have in the chat, and I will be sure to answer them. Let's take a quick break. I'm going to get you ready for some exciting Saturday shows coming up here on my YouTube channel. I've got some amazing shows coming up on Saturday with Dallas Cardinale, my flagship program. So stick around. I've got plenty more awesome questions to answer, and I will answer your questions when you post them in the chat.
Halloween 2025 Live Extravaganza. Don't miss out on the spooktacular Halloween 2025 live event, an unforgettable night of thrills and chills presented by Saturday with Alex Cardinale, Koi Smart, Tank Smart, Segrest Farms, and Private Reef Aquatics. Join us for a hauntingly good time on Halloween night, Friday, October 31st, 2025, at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Hosted by the Italian-American cowboy, Alex Cardinale. Prepare yourself for an evening of entertainment and enlightenment hosted by the charismatic Italian-American cowboy, Alex Cardinale. Expect special appearances from Chef Alex and Aqua Alex. Event highlights. Cowboy culture. Immerse yourself in the rich history and captivating stories of cowboys. Discover what it truly means to live as a cowboy. Animal adventures. Explore animals synonymous with cowboy culture, including cattle and horses, and learn about their fascinating roles and characteristics. Halloween fun. Get the scoop on the newest Halloween candy for 2025 and relive some delightful Halloween memories with us. Aqua Alex's fish collection. Witness the stunning variety in Aqua Alex Cardinale's personal fish collection, with a unique aquatic twist on Halloween festivities. Fish room tours. Experience exclusive tours of fish rooms with Koi Smart and Tank Smart, showcasing their incredible aquatic setups. Comedy Corner. Enjoy a series of hilarious Halloween videos that will have you laughing all night long. Watch live. Catch all the action and fun live on Halloween night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time on the Aqua Alex Aquarium's YouTube channel and Instagram. Join us for an unforgettable Halloween celebration filled with laughter, learning, and lively entertainment. Set your reminders and get ready for a night of tricks, treats, and terrific times.
Thanksgiving time, the love we share, family ties will always care. Blissful days and cozy nights, cherished moments, pure delight.
Coming in on target. You need to move a little faster than that, son. Seat is light.
Thanksgiving season kicks off on the next Saturday with Dallas Cardinale. Let's kick off Thanksgiving on Saturday, November 1st, 2025 at a special start time, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. We're going to kick off Thanksgiving festivities on Saturday with Dallas Cardinale with some amazing Thanksgiving facts. Plus, I'm going to discuss 3 things we should all be grateful for. Chef Alex will have delicious Thanksgiving recipes. And the featured Thanksgiving fish will be the Volatin lionfish. Plus, there will be Koi Smart featured fish, Tank Smart featured fish, and Segrest Farms featured fish. Aqua Alex's featured fish will be the Pink Square Anthias. There's going to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneers spotlight, Week 8 recap versus the Saints, and a complete Week 1 to Week 8 recap as the Bucs celebrate their bye week. WWE fan Alex Cardinale is in the house to recap WWE Saturday night's main event and learn about the loggerhead sea turtle as the animal of the world. All that and more live Saturday, November 1st. Special start time 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific.
Are you enjoying the show so far? Aqua Alex is eager to dive into your fish keeping questions. Whether you're watching live or catching the replay, you won't want to miss the chance to get your questions answered by an expert. Live viewers, drop your questions in the chat and Aqua Alex will answer them during the show. Replay viewers, email your queries to aqualexcardinale@icloud.com and receive a personalized response. Let's make your fish keeping experience even more enjoyable. Happy fish keeping!
Welcome back to episode number 2 of Ask Aqua Alex Live. And I've answered some incredible questions that were emailed to me. And I still have some awesome questions that were emailed to me that I am going to answer. Now, if you have any questions and you're watching live, post your questions in the chat and I will answer them. So, our next set of questions comes from the same individual who actually is just starting to get interest in monster predatory fish. So that's awesome. Before I answer those questions, I want to say congratulations on joining the dark side. It's go big or go home, in my personal opinion. But I'm glad to see that you have stepped away from the microscopic nanofish and now you're joining the big leagues. Congratulations. I applaud you for getting away from the microscopic fish and going into the big monster fish. I'm just kidding. I love all fish, but I do like monster fish the best. So he wants to know what sparked my interest in predatory monster fish and large growing fish. I pretty much think the answer to that is that I grew up around them. My dad was keeping big monster fish and large growing fish when I was born. So pretty much growing up, I've always been around monster fish like arowanas, clown knifes, iridescent sharks, pacu, red-tailed cats, tiger shovelnose, Oscars, things like that. I grew up around predatory and large growing fish. So I think being around them at such a young age has definitely made me fond of them. And then eventually, when I started keeping fish, I started keeping the predatory monster fish and large growing fish. Now, predatory does not always mean that fish are going to grow large or massive or a couple feet in length. Predatory fish can also be fish that only grow 8 to 9 inches or 10 to 12 inches. Predatory just means aggressive and they'll eat smaller fish. I like the oddball fish like that. I love Polypterus. I love bikers. I love African leaf fish, aka leopard cenopomas. I love African butterfly fish. I love lungfish. I love fire eels, tire track eels, peacock eels. So not every predatory fish is a monster fish that's going to grow gigantic and outgrow your aquarium. There are some manageable predatory fish that can be kept long term in aquariums, like the peacock eels, the tire track eels, the fire eels, many different species of bikers, leopard cenopomas, datnoids, etc. So that's my interest. That's how my interest got sparked in predatory monster fish. I grew up around them. What are my favorite species of predatory monster fish and why? Again, that is a tough question because I have so many favorites. But I'll tell you right now, on the very top of the list, the very tippy top of that list, would be arowanas. I love the Giardini arowana, I love the silver arowana, and I love the black arowana. So those would be on the very tippy top of that list. And then I love bikers. Bikers are extremely cool. My all-time favorite biker is the Endless Cherry, which after so many years, I finally have in my collection. And I am very, very thankful to have an Endless Cherry biker. Bikers are really cool. Catfish. There are so many awesome species of large growing catfish that I love. I love the red-tailed cats. I love the tiger shovelnose. I love the Oxydorus niger, aka ripsaw cat. The iridescent shark is also a good favorite of mine. What else? I like clown knives. I like lungfish, stingrays, so many favorites. I love them all. Which large growing fish do I currently have in my collection? Well, right now, for the first time in a long time, I actually don't have a fish that's going to outgrow my aquarium. Well, actually, I take that back. I do have a West African lungfish. The West African lungfish can eventually reach 3 or 4 feet, but I think he's fine in a 6 foot aquarium because they don't swim that much. They only come to the surface for air. So right now, the only large growing fish I have in my collection would be my West African lungfish and my endless cherry and oronate biker. That's about it. I don't really have any monsters at the moment. I've got my African cichlids. The largest growing African cichlids I have right now are my Malawi hawk, my Malawi eye biter, and my frontosas. Um, I've got a flagtail prochylotus too. So the only large growing fish I have currently right now would be my flagtail prochylotus, my lungfish, my bikers, the Malawi hawk, Malawi eye biter, and frontosas. What are the biggest challenges I faced in keeping predatory and large growing fish? Aggression. Aggression is one of the biggest challenges I faced with predatory and large growing fish, territorial disputes, and fish eating each other. If a predatory fish thinks a fish is going to fit in its mouth, it's going to try eating it. And like I said earlier, there are ways to avoid that, but basically just mix in fish that are too big for them to be eaten. I think the biggest challenge I've had in keeping predatory and large growing fish is aggression, and that is because territorial issues. Big fish need a big tank. Are there any fish species I hope to add to my collection in the future? Yes, there are plenty of fish species I hope to have in my collection in the future. One of them would be the zebra shovelnose, aka the tigrinus catfish. I've always wanted a tigrinus catfish. Goonch catfish. I've always wanted a goonch. The goonch catfish are really cool predatory catfish from River Monsters. We all remember the show River Monsters, right? Well, I always loved a goonch cat. I think they're absolutely cool and very, very unique. Let's see what else is a fish that I'd love to have in my collection. On saltwater, I'd love to have a hogfish. I'd love to have firefish. I'd love to have a nice arc eye or giant hawkfish. I'd love to have a tessellata moray eel, and I'd love to have some beautiful shrimp. So those are some awesome fish that I'd like to have in my collection. All right. So the next question, this is the last question from this awesome viewer. What are my long-term goals as a fish keeper? I honestly don't know. I haven't really set any long-term goals as a fish keeper, but I'll give you some goals as a fish keeping content creator. My goals as a fish keeping content creator are to see the aquarium hobby thrive. I'd love to see more and more youth getting involved in the aquarium hobby. I'd love to see more kids getting aquariums and keeping tropical fish than doing drugs and other illegal activities. But personally, my long-term goal as a fish keeper is just to experience keeping many different species of fish, watching them grow, documenting their behavior, and interacting with them. I actually absolutely adore African cichlids now. Before, I did not like African cichlids. I couldn't stand the sight of them. I thought they were too aggressive, overhyped, etc. But now that I've actually had them for some time, I love them. I love how they beg for food. They are used to seeing me feed them, so they're used to me walking by the aquarium, and anytime I walk by the aquarium, they think it's time to be fed. So I really love African cichlids, and I think that's what I need to do more of in the aquarium hobby, is enter the aquarium hobby with an open mind. And instead of believing the hype that you read online from other people's experiences, you have to try yourself. And I think that's something that I'm going to continue doing in the aquarium hobby. All right. So, up on the screen right now, you're going to see a very special QR code. That QR code is for my Cameo. On Cameo, Aqua Alex Cardinale, can do a customized greeting video for you, which can be a birthday greeting, it could be a special occasion greeting, it could even be a species profile video, or even a tour of the fish stores that I work at. I would be happy to do a Cameo video for you. Just take your smartphone or your iPad or tablet and scan that QR code, and it's going to take you to my Cameo website. Here is some more information on my Cameo. Hey everyone, Aqua Alex Cardinale here. I'm excited to tell you that I am officially on Cameo. Are you a fan of Aquatic Wetline? Are you a fan of Aqua Alex Cardinale? Well, great. Now you can request a customized video greeting from me, yours truly, Aqua Alex. Just go to cameo.com/Aqua Alex Cardinale and request your customized video. I could do birthday greetings, I could do special occasion greetings, I could even do a fish store tour of Koi Smart and Tank Smart for you. I could do species profile videos, whatever video your heart desires, I could do. Just go to cameo.com/Aqua Alex Cardinale and let me help you live your aquarium dream. All right, so make sure you check out Cameo. And now, here is something that we're going to have on every Ask Aqua Alex Live. It's going to be an aquarium update from my personal aquarium. And here is this week's aquarium update.
There's a fire in his eyes, a storm in his grin. When you step too close, boy, that's when it begins. Don't hope the bear, don't test his soul. Alex plays by rules you'll never control. Messing with Alex, it's a dangerous game. He's a crazy Italian, wild like untamed flame. Better think twice before you make your stand. He's got justice in his heart and a wrench in his hand. He grew up tough in a family strong. Every Sunday dinner filled with shouting and song. Across that man you'll face his side, where grit meets charm and vengeance rides. Messing with Alex, it's a dangerous game. He's a crazy Italian, wild like untamed flame. Better think twice before you make your stand. He's got justice in his heart and a wrench in his hand. You grew up tough in a family strong. Every Sunday dinner filled with shouting and song. Across that man you'll face his side, where grit meets charm and vengeance rides. You think you're slick, you think you're smart, but Alex so tear your plan apart. He moves like fire, he's sharp as steel. Mess around and you'll know how real it feels. He ain't just trouble, he's got heart full of gold. Protects his own whether young or old. So heed this warning, stay out of his way, or you'll regret the games you choose to play. Ooh, watch in his hand. Ooh. He's got heart full of gold, protects his own whether young or old. So heed this warning, stay out of his way, or you'll regret the games you choose to play. He ain't just trouble, he ain't just trouble. He's got heart full of gold, protects his own whether young or old. So heed this warning, stay out of his way, or you'll regret the games you choose to play.
All right, so as you can see, all the fish are doing awesome. All my African cichlids are doing amazing, and I love my beautiful 125-gallon African cichlid display. So now I want to show some images of my beautiful African cichlids. Here is a beautiful light that I added to my aquarium, and you can see it makes my dragon blood peacock look amazing. That is a beautiful dragon blood peacock that I have, and the beautiful Fubo light that I have makes it look even better. Here is one of my two small Burundi frontosas, and the Burundi frontosas are awesome looking, very, very cool. Here is one of my juvenile male OB peacocks, very, very cool. Here is my bicolor peacock along with a friar eye cichlid, very, very cool. One of my all-time favorite hap cichlids, the Malawi trout. I actually love the Malawi trout. They're a very cool, personable cichlid. They have a very unique appearance, which is something that I really love about the Malawi hawk. Here is one of my larger Burundi frontosas. Very, very cool. I'm not sure what kind of peacock this is. I was told it's a Eureka red, but it's a very, very colorful fish and one that I really love having. Here's another one of my Burundi frontosas and a Johnstoni cichlid that I got last week for my 11-year YouTube anniversary. Here is my beautiful dragon blood peacock, such a very colorful fish. This one's actually a peacock that I grew out from a juvenile stage all the way to subadult. Very, very cool. Here is my new Starry Night cichlid that I got last week on my 11-year YouTube anniversary. Very, very colorful fish. Another shot of my Starry Night cichlid. Another shot of my dragon blood. Another beautiful shot of my dragon blood peacock. And then last but not least, we've got my Venustus cichlid. Venustus cichlids are an extremely popular African cichlid in the aquarium hobby. A lot of people love the Venustus cichlids. I think they are a really cool cichlid. Well, next Tuesday, our third edition of Ask Aqua Alex Live is going to be hosted in a new location. That's because I, Aqua Alex Cardinale, will be moving. And I will be moving this weekend, so I'll no longer be in this house here in Lake Worth. Next Tuesday, I will be broadcasting in a whole new city, most likely Port St. Lucie. So I am very much looking forward to that. So that means this weekend I'm going to have to bag up all my fish, drain my 125-gallon aquarium, and move it to a new location. But luckily for me, I've got an amazing friend who is a aquarium maintenance guy. He's actually my personal aquarium maintenance pro. His name is Isaiah from Private Reef Aquatics, and that is one of our presenting sponsors here on Aquatic Wetline. and Saturday with Alice Cardinale. So Isaiah is going to help me move my 125-gallon aquarium to my new place, but it's going to be a big move, and it's something that I am not looking forward to, but at least this time I work at a fish store so I can get bags, can bag all my fish up, and it'll be a smooth and easy move. So next Tuesday on our third episode of Ask Aqua Alex Live, I'll be broadcasting in a new location. And next week, I've got some other awesome questions that I'm going to answer. I just didn't want to jam all the questions into today's show, so I'm going to save the other questions that were emailed to me this week for next week's episode. So if you have fish keeping questions you want me to answer, please email them to Aqua Alex Cardinale at iCloud.com, and I will answer them next week, or post them in the chat and I will answer them in a few moments. But right now, let's go ahead and hear a quick word from two of our sponsors, Koi Smart and Tank Smart, and then we'll wrap up this amazing show. Aqua Alex here at Koi Smart, and I'm inviting you to come stop by and check out Koi Smart. We have some amazing koi. We have both domestic and imported koi. We also have fancy goldfish, and we also have pond supplies. And we also supply freshwater aquarium fish and all the supplies you need for your aquariums and ponds. So stop by Koi Smart today, 6440 Garden Road, Riviera Beach, Florida, and let us help you. Aqua Alex, the fish guy here at Tank Smart, and I'm inviting you to check out Tank Smart Aquariums located here in Lake Worth, Florida. One of the reasons I'm inviting you to check us out is because we have aquarium supplies, freshwater and saltwater fish. So let us help you enjoy the aquarium hobby by providing you with excellent aquarium supplies, saltwater and freshwater livestock. We can special order any fish you are looking for. And soon to come here at Tank Smart, we're going to have koi and goldfish and pond supplies for all you pond maniacs out there. So check us out, Tank Smart Aquariums, located in Lake Worth, Florida, 6680 Lantana Road, Lake Worth, Florida. Stop by and visit Tank Smart Aquariums and let us help you live your aquarium dreams. All right, fish keepers, I want to thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Ask Aqua Alex Live. I will see you all next Tuesday, and if you have questions you want me to answer on next Tuesday's episode, please email them to Aqua Alex Cardinale at iCloud.com. That's Aqua Alex Cardinale at iCloud.com. And I will answer your questions next week. Have a great week, fish keepers. Happy fish keeping. And don't miss my Halloween 2025 live stream on Halloween. Good night, everybody.